Hi, I'm Terrell Turner, the host of the Business Talk Library, and today I have a great guest on. And the guest and I, we had a conversation, a couple weeks ago, and we were just talking about her business, Incito, and really the journey of her building that business. Because if you've been anywhere in the world, one of the things you've seen executive and leadership coaches popping up. So it is a very crowded field. But for her to enter that field and to establish herself and to build her brand and to have the level of success that she's had has been amazing. So I want to welcome to the show, Jenn Lofgren. Welcome to the show, Jenn.
Thanks, Terrell. Great to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, people have, they've heard the intro of how great and how awesome your business is and the success that you've had. But can you take us back a little bit of, what was, kind of your backstory of why starting this type of business? What was your background?
Well, I have an unexpected backstory. A lot of people are surprised to learn that I had a first career in technology, and I built international computer networks and oversaw teams that worked in the Middle East, Colombia, Gulf of Mexico, all over. And I left that career because I was interested in growing and developing my team. I was finding a passion for working with the business on strategy. And I didn't love the technology piece of the work that I did. I was just gifted at this abstract technology that led me to going back to school and pursuing a career in human resources because I was interested in leadership culture and teams in this business strategy. And after a couple of years, after graduating with my human resources designation, I layered on professional coach training. And I was getting to a point where in my current organization, it was turning into more of a generalist HR role and not the leadership culture and teamwork that I was passionate about. And I learned from my peers that if I really wanted to pursue this work, my passion further, I needed to be an external consultant. So layered on that professional coach training and started my business in 2009 when my daughter was just a year old. Well, I don't know if you remember 2009, but I sure do because it was a terrible recession. It was the very worst time to start a business. And in hindsight, a really great time to start a business because it taught me to start a sustainable business.
Mhm.
But I heard from a lot of people of, it's not a great time. And also, like you, this crowded space, why would you want to get into this? And oh, by the way, you're young, you're female, and you haven't been a senior executive. And if you look around, most of your peers are going to be 55 white old men. No offense, but they're gonna wear their credibility. And they didn't know how to tell me that, but that's what they were trying to tell me is people wouldn't assume my credibility and my peers they would. And so that's where I started out in 2009 with this, only a few years into HR career, lots of business background behind me, but starting out on this new path and people going, you sure you know what you're doing?
I think that is, it's I laugh because that's something that resonates with me because it's something that I've heard as well. I mean, with, being young and as many people have told me, looking young at the same time. It does become challenging when you're, like I said, the other people in your industry, in your sector are, middle age and it's just like they said, they wear their credibility or they wear what's perceived as credibility on
Mhm.
their sleeve. So, when it came down for you, I mean, really starting that process of, building your credibility in that space, what were some of the things that you kind of did early on to kind of, set yourself up to where you can start to build your brand?
I talked to a lot of people. A lot of people. I remember telling my husband one day, it was about 4 months in, I said, I feel like a coffee socialite. I, I have a lot of coffee meetings. I talk to a lot of people. I got no business. I'm not sure we call it a business. But little by little, those people I talked to, there was a lot I learned from them around the things that I needed to do to build my credibility. And I started uh, incorporating that learning. I wasn't out there trying to sell a product. I was really focused on those information meetings and getting to understand where I might add value or the things I needed to do. And the advice that I started to receive was certain people to talk to or to get out and speak at a conference, or to start in writing and put my thoughts into a newsletter or out on social media so people could see the credibility that I had that was inside of me, but it wasn't visible. Help me understand ways to make it visible, or to get involved in the business community in new ways, and allow me to build relationships where they could experience my credibility. And that led me to joining board of directors in the business community, and then another one and another one, in building the relationship and giving back to the community that was giving to me, gave me a great education, but also allowed me to build relationships that had more depth to them, because I was giving into that community. I wasn't just taking learning and knowledge, I was also contributing. And I think that's what really helped me, was just that persistence of, who else should I talk to? Who else would I benefit from talking with? It wasn't about, okay, who else do you think might be willing to hire me as an executive coach? It's, who else would I benefit from talking to? Because this is what I'm wanting to do. And who do you think would be interesting for me to talk to?
And I think that's a very good point, because even for when I talk to different entrepreneurs that have an idea, I think that's the thing that they probably, I guess you say, unintentionally try to shy away from, because it's like they're like, hey, how do I turn every conversation into a sales opportunity? So I mean, I guess with that pressure of starting a business, and you want to start the sales, like how did you kind of pull yourself back from the pressure of trying to turn every conversation into a sales opportunity, and really keeping it on, like I said, developing those relationships?
I think it came from early in my life. When I was young, I was the department manager for a computer department in an electronics store. And I remember the general manager wanted to send me on sales training. Everybody had to do the sales training. And I said, Chris, how are my sales? Best in the country. How are my team sales? Best in the country. I said, Chris, I don't sell, I just help people. When there's a problem with my sales, I'll go take the sales class. In hindsight, I actually really wish I took the sales class, because I think there would have been some learning there for me. But I took that mindset into what I wanted to do, and looking at, where can I help people? Where do I add value? Or what do I need to learn more about to figure out how I add value? And little by little, in asking for who else to talk to, people would make introductions to people that they thought would benefit from talking with me as well, because I wasn't asking for business. I was genuinely interested in what they had to share with me, and I was contributing value to the people that I met with. It was looking at whether I can make a connection for them, or I could offer them some value in taking a coach approach in our conversation without coaching them uninvited, but bringing that presence and bringing any knowledge or wisdom and resources to the table. And they would say, you should talk to my wife's brother, who's a leader in this company. I bet you he would really value a conversation with you. Wasn't, oh, this person would be a customer for you. It's, I bet you this would be an interesting conversation. And just resisting that, knowing that I don't sell things, I help people. And going back to those roots that served me early in my life, that made me feel aligned with my values. That's really what it was with the general manager in the electronics store. Was I didn't feel aligned with my values. If I was selling something to someone just to make a sale, I could only sell them something that would truly get them more what they wanted.
Wow. I think that is a very, very great point. I mean, and it's a good perspective to have. I mean, so I can clearly see how that philosophy, that approach, that mentality led to, the great awards and recognition that you've been receiving. Can you tell us a little bit about, said some of the recognition that you've received in your business for the great work that you're doing?
Oh, it's pretty amazing to have received an award, let alone a number of awards. And a few years ago, I was recognized by Distinctive Women magazine as the Entrepreneur of the Year. And then in 2019, by my university, Mount Royal University, as an outstanding alumni. And then just last year, one of Canada's top 100 most powerful women. And A lot of that has been attributed to my business success, but more than anything, those awards have been about my community contributions and giving back to the variety of communities I belong to. The business community in Calgary, I serve on the board of directors for the Calgary Chamber, but I'm involved in a nonprofit that serves youth and struggling youth in our community, on a historic theater board, and with our Parks Foundation, or with the HR profession. And I've been really involved in giving back to the community that's really helped grow my business and grow me as a human being and as a professional. And if I want to have a strong business community and strong services for our youth, for my daughter, or for the young person that I was early in my life, and I want to have a vibrant community of parks and arts, it's important that I'm playing a role in contributing to creating that for myself, but also for my family in the future and for the community around me. And that's really what the recognition of these awards has been, is recognizing those community contributions, not just by a long shot, not my business contributions.
Mhm. Awesome. Awesome. So now, speaking of your business, when someone's looking to do business with you and they're looking at your services and the products that you offer, can you tell us a little bit more about, what it's like to work with Jenn?
Well, at Incito Executive and Leadership Development, that's exactly what we do. We do one-on-one coaching with individuals and also with leadership teams. And what it's like to work with us is we work on the mindset of leadership first and the skills and tactics of leadership second. We're not all one size fits all. To take someone through a program top to bottom does not acknowledge the individual, the human being, that leader in front of me, and identifying where are you now and where do you want to go, and looking at what are the gaps and how do we partner together to fill those gaps. Because ultimately, my goal is to help those leaders achieve not only greater strategic results, but I also want them to build strong relationships and to be able to let go of the stress and worry of leadership so that they can sleep better at night. So to work with me and anyone else on our team is to really work with a partner deeply invested in your success.
Awesome. So where can people find you online, or where can they follow you on social media?
They can find us online at incito.ca and follow us on social media. We're most active on LinkedIn. They can follow me on LinkedIn. And also they can find some of my articles on Forbes. If they follow me on Forbes, they can find my monthly articles there.
Awesome. Awesome. So one question that I like to ask every guest that comes on is, when you think about your journey and you think about, the things that you've done, and you think about where you are and where you're going, what's two pieces of advice that you would share with other business owners?
I think it's building a business takes time and a whole lot of persistence and working past that inner critic that's going to come up when things are slow and you're not seeing immediate success. The persistence piece is key, but also so is a support team around you. You can't build a business by yourself, and it doesn't mean that you have to have employees in the beginning. It means that you have to have people around you for that emotional support, for that mentorship support, to be by your side and be your cheerleader, and also to pick you back up when you're feeling down, dust you off, and push you back into the arena to keep going and to continue to be persistent, because they're helping you have a full gas tank along the way.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Jenn, thank you so much for coming on. And I always enjoy, hearing and reflecting on your story, the great things that you've accomplished with your business. We'll definitely include some links so people can follow you and find you in Forbes as well, to learn from all the things that's going on with you. Congrats on all the awards, and definitely thank you for coming on the show, Jenn.
Thank you so much, Terrell. It was lovely talking with you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Business Talk Library. If you like our content, be sure to follow us on social media. And if you want to see more of our exclusive content, you can subscribe and become a member on patreon.com/Business Talk Library. Hey, the Business Talk Library is the place where business makes sense.